This is Mary Lewis at A Tiny Homestead, the podcast comprised entirely of conversations with homesteaders, cottage food producers, and crafters. If you're enjoying this podcast, please like, subscribe, share it with a friend, or leave a comment. Thank you. Today I'm talking with John at Dailey Farms. Good morning, John. How are you?
Morning, Mary. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on today.
You're welcome. I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties. I don't know what's up with this app, but sometimes it works like a
I think it's
charm,
more
and
about
sometimes it fights people.
me
So
not
you got
figuring
the
out
fights people today.
technology fast enough here.
Well, that happens too. All right. So you're in Illinois, right?
Correct. We're just on the western side of Illinois here, zone 6 if you're planting.
Mm-hmm.
And we're a dairy farm.
Nice. And you're a goat dairy farm, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Tell me all about what you do.
So about 2015, I decided to have a major career change. I was a desk jockey working in the tech and biotech world, and had a career. Came to a crossroads, and I said I always wanted to be the $1 million question. What would you do if money were no object? I always wanted to be a farmer, and one of the major reasons that came up, and so here we are. And I was over in Australia, and I have lactose issues.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, you can't have milk." Yeah, you can. You can just drink goat milk. Up until that point, I've been drinking almond water and coconut water and oat water and all the different, oat milk and all the different alternatives, and was not a big fan of that. So I said, "Why isn't anybody doing this in the States?"
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, maybe I should be the one doing it in the States. So here we are.
Yeah, did I miss it? Did you grow up in Australia, or were you just over
Oh
there?
no, I was so when I was transitioning careers, I took a little sabbatical and spent a couple weeks over there visiting a friend, and that's when I came across all the people over down in Australia sipping on goat milk.
Okay, now I understand.
I
So,
apologize for not clarifying.
nope, that's
I'm
okay.
born and raised in Illinois.
My mom was born in Illinois, and then she moved to Maine when she was like 19 years old. So,
Wow, that's a big move.
yeah, she met my dad, fell in love with him, and was like, I go where you go forever. So,
All right, that's pretty neat.
yeah.
I have one of my old roommates moved to Maine, and they are now they're doing chicken farming. So, which is funny because we're both in the tech world. We both decided to become farmers.
It happens. My husband loves gardening and loves having chickens. I do not. So I do a podcast, and he raises produce and takes care of chickens.
Hey,
it works out great.
that's a good deal there.
And my dad actually was a electrical engineer by trade, and then became a biomed tech.
Oh, wow.
For his career. And now he's 81 years old, living on 14 acres in Maine and raising chickens, and has a border collie. So there's something about that thing.
I think so. Or maybe the romantic idea of being the gentleman farmer as well.
I don't know. My dad has always been a gentleman, and I mean that with all due sincerity. He is the nicest man you will ever meet. So he would have been a gentleman either way.
Fantastic.
Best man I know.
Well, I don't know if I'd qualify for the gentleman part, but I definitely am farming out here.
Okay. So I saw that you have goat milk soap, and it's made with tallow and lye and goat's milk. And I also saw that you sell goat's milk that is pasteurized at the local store. So my question is, do you use just the raw goat's milk for your soap, or do you use
for the soap? We can luckily use the it does not need to be pasteurized. But with the process of saponification, which is what makes soap, the temperatures do get up there. So it is slightly pasteurized. Pasteurization is just, something the French figured out to make wine have a longer shelf life back in the 1800s. And was a beautiful thing for farmers at the time as well, because it also extended the shelf life of the dairy products they would take to market. Long-winded answer, but during that saponification process, while I'm making my soap, the temperature on that milk does get up in the same temperature range as pasteurization, traditional pasteurization. Um, the milk you see at the store that doesn't need to be refrigerated, that's been ultra high temperature pasteurization method, which is several hundred degrees. Whole other can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah, we make soap here too, and we actually burned our table at one
oh
point
yes,
because the saponification process gets super freaking hot. And if you don't put a towel down between the bottom of your soap box or whatever your mold is and your table, it will leave a mark.
it'll scorch. Yes, and
Mhm.
when you're working with that lye, it's remarkable how fast, if you're not ready for that chemical. It's like it's not bad wording, but if you're not ready for the lye to do its thing, that temperature shoots up very fast.
Hmm. Yes, it's not. I always tell people, they're always like, I'd love to learn how to make, raw soap or whatever they want to call it. And I'm like, it's not hard. You just have to be careful.
That's uh, when I have people over and they see me making my soap, and they're like, "You look like the guy from Breaking Bad with your glasses and your gloves and your apron." And I'm like, "Well, we're dealing with some science and some chemistry that's you know uh, pretty serious stuff, but under controlled scenarios, it's doable by the average person, no doubt. But like you said, you just need to be careful and cross your T's and dot your I's.
Yeah, it can hurt you, but if you're careful, it can make some wonderful things for your skin, as I know, and as you know, and as all your customers know.
Oh yes, it's and once they start using it, they find it hard to switch back to the regular stuff. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we were out of hours for about a month, and I basically begged my husband to make a new batch because I was like, I can't use the store-bought soap with all the things I can't pronounce because it makes my skin itch. Please make some new soap. And he did.
Yes, yes. What a gentleman. What a nice guy.
Yes, yes, he is a wonderful man. And I showed him what it was doing to my skin on my arm. And he was like, Oh my God, you have like dry skin on your arm. I said, I have dry skin all over me. I need our soap back. And
Our soap.
he was like, Okay, I'm
It was
on it.
like nice. And if you have all your supplies ready, it's just time and curing, and that's the other thing is the patience. At least on my bars is the patient. I give them a pretty extended cure time. I don't have any instant cure with just the three ingredients. So um,
Uh-huh.
I have at least a 1 month wait on mine, depending on how fast and all that fun stuff. How fast it's cured.
Yeah, we give ours 4 to 6 weeks. If I can wait the 6 weeks, I will. But if I want it in 4 weeks, it's going to get used in 4 weeks. So,
Yeah, I think that was even at first. Speaking of the learning curve, I was always nervous. Like, all my instructions and everything I had studied on it says, you have to allow it this minimum amount of time. And I was like, if you touch that, it's going to hurt you. And I was
mhm.
very careful, but I learned that yes, it's not going to be the end of me if I do it right at that cutoff point.
Yeah, and what most people don't know about lye soap is that the reason you let it cure is because it has to get rid of some of the moisture. If you don't let it cure, then the bar gets all soft and squishy in the shower or the bathtub, and it goes away faster. That's why you let it cure.
Ah, yes. Well, hey, I'm learning new stuff every day.
Yep.
I thought it was all the stuff mixing together had to do its magic and um, harden more. I
No,
guess that's part of the. Oh, please go ahead.
no, it will not hurt you. We cut our bars 24 hours after they've been poured,
Mm-hmm.
and then that starts the drying process.
Okay.
But really what it is the soap bar will last longer, more uses if it's dried for at least 4 weeks.
Ah, all right, I gotcha. Fantastic.
Yeah, you can touch lye soap 24 hours after it's done its job, done its thing in
Good
the
to
mold,
know.
and it
Well,
won't burn
and
you.
the
It's
fun
just
thing is
very
I have
wet.
a couple of, all right, okay,
Hmm.
good to know. Yeah, I have a couple of clients that have, it's a wonderful thing because I enjoy always learning new stuff like this. And I have a couple of clients who are very, very knowledgeable. One even worked at a dial factory for 20 years.
Hmm.
There's been a wealth of knowledge and teaching me some of the other things. Uh, just it's a whole world of you can you can do the basics and make yourself soap, or you like you said you can really get down into the chemical processes and like it's like a science experiment basically.
Hmm. Yep. And we make our soap differently than you do. We don't use milk or goat's milk or anything. We use
Right.
essential oils in ours, and we use
Yes.
coconut oil and
All
olive
right.
oil and all
All right.
those wonderful things.
No, olive oil. That's why when I first started, I was using olive oil as one of my bases, and I
Mhm.
still have the one of my batches I made. I still have 2 bars left, and that was from like 7 years ago, and they're still good. I don't know how. I don't know what I had some sort of magic, and I didn't write it down. I wish I would have known. They're the
Yep,
never-ending
there's
soap
all
bar.
kinds. Yeah, there's all kinds of recipes on the internet that will give you new ways to make soap.
Yes. But,
Okay, so enough about soap. Um, Tell me about your goats. I've talked to a lot of people about
oh,
goats on the podcast, but tell me about your goats.
our goats. I ended up coming back here during the career change, working. I spent a year on a dairy farm, goat dairy farm, who was producing milk for Mount Chev, which was at the time they've been bought out since a large cheese producer. So they would, you know, have tankers come and get all their milk. So I kind of earned my um, stars there, and I have alpine goats, uh, and they're known for their high protein content and high milk production. I figured if I was going to be bottling and selling milk, I'd like to have the goats that make the most milk
Hmm.
naturally. And yeah, so from there I got approved, got a facility built, uh, found my own space, got to milking, got approved to be grade A, and here we are, easy peasy.
Okay, easy peasy sounds really nice, but I bet it wasn't as easy peasy as you're making it sound like it was.
It did happen to take 18 months. It took a year and a half to get approved to be grade A with visits from the USDA and the inspectors and, you know, rebuild, like changing outdoors and adding, the room had to have an office, it had to have restrooms, it had to have extra sinks. There was quite a bit of construction on top of what I initially thought would make the cut.
Hmm.
Um, and getting the equipment just as so to to get it to where I'm comfortable operating it. So there was a few wrenches thrown in the mill before I got her up and running just the way I like it. And but it at the end of the day, you're just getting milk in the bottle, but you got to get approved to be testing it and all these fun things. So
Yeah, how many goats do you have, John?
right now I am at where did I? Well, we just had babies. So there's 32 new babies at the moment. There's still a couple coming. Um, and that's on top of my 61 goats. So that would put me at 93, I believe was my count last night.
Nice. That is a goat herd.
It's a full house right at the moment.
Yep.
So during kidding
So,
season, we can each goat could essentially have triplets, and I could have 180 goats in there. But only a few
yeah.
twins and a few
Yep.
singles.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're not milking by hand, you are machine milking.
I have an individual pump that does the same thing that those giant, rotating turrets do. You see on YouTube,
Hmm.
and one at a time. And I think it allows for good inspection of the animal, and still make things somewhat timely. I've tried doing two at a time, and I end up spending the same amount of time
Huh.
just fighting back and forth with the two of them.
Okay. Um, Anyone who's listened to my podcast up till right now knows that I love baby goats. So the idea of over 20 baby goats in one season just makes me giggle. I love it.
They are in full 100% cute mode at the moment. They're cleaned up and fluffy and exploring and bouncing and twisting and doing all the fun baby goat stuff these first couple weeks. And that's kind of how I differentiate myself from the pack. A lot of um, yeah, let's say my friends from my Amish buddy, they'd pull the kids and bottle feed them and get milk in the goats right away. I keep the kids on the nannies, on their mothers, to have mother's milk for
Mhm.
several weeks before they wean. So it's kind of a different way of doing things, but it's how I get it done.
So is it like with dairy cows where they do the calf share where the calf can nurse and then you can also milk? Is that the same thing?
I can, yes, I can do that. Towards the end of it, at the beginning, I'm kind of letting them have free reign and
Mhm.
just keeping an eye on the mom to make sure she's okay with it. But yes, they can be uh, milked twice. They do. You know, it's personal preference at that point.
Uh-huh. And I guess if it's goats, it's a kid share, not a calf share, but you know what I'm saying.
Correct. Correct. There are a lot of
Okay.
interchangeable words there. We can. No offense taken.
We'll just we'll just call it baby animal share and that'll
Yeah,
cover the whole thing.
exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
okay. So I had a question. Oh,
Mm.
can you sell raw goat's milk in Illinois or does it have to be pasteurized?
Now, if you plan to sell at stores or at the farmer's market, it has to be pasteurized. Now, there's people who
What
have
if
a license to sell raw off farm direct, but that's all they can sell. They can't make
mhm.
additional products to sell in
So
stores,
if
so on
someone
and so
wanted
forth.
if someone wanted raw milk from you, can they come to your farm and get it from you or is that not allowed?
Not allowed. The inspectors frown upon it, and it's not allowed because I am running the grade A, and they don't want those commingling. They don't want the dangerous raw milk to be, near
Uh-huh.
my good pasteurized milk. But that's just, I like that. Uh, I'm a proponent of the raw milk movement. I believe in a lot of its attributes. But I think I found the happy medium where I pasteurize at the lowest legally allowed temperature, at the lowest
Mm.
temperature for the shortest amount of time to do as minimal, um, interference with the enzymes and the things like that advocates are looking for.
Okay. It's so weird because so many states have so many different laws regarding raw milk, whether it's goat or sheep or cow.
Oh yeah, and even until I got into it, I had no idea how much went into that. But it is there's quite a bit of yeah, regulatory things and just differences state to state, which is why I'm right on the border of Iowa, and Iowa is a great market. And everybody, a lot of my customers come from Iowa into Illinois, and they're like, "Why don't you just sell in Illinois and Iowa?" Well, I'm licensed in Illinois, so I cannot cross state lines, and I can't just say, "Well, I want to sell in Iowa too," and get licensed. I have to become an international seller at that point and be licensed in every state. So I looked into that. I know the rules for Alaska, Hawaii, Delaware, Puerto Rico, Florida. You have to be able to. You can do one state or all states.
Okay, I see. In Minnesota, the farmers can sell goat milk, cow milk, whatever, as long as people come to their farm with their own container.
Yes, and
That's
that's
what
a
I think.
That's some, and some states where they do let you do raw milk, you have to bring your own. Yeah. Some states say bring your own bottle. Some states say, as yeah, there's a myriad of and and very interesting things like that. Like if you have your own bottle, that's going to make all the difference.
Mhm. Yep. Okay, so we've talked about goats, we've talked about soap, we've talked about rules. Did I see that you just became engaged?
Yes, I am recently engaged. I have a pretty long time girlfriend here, Kayla, and we're excited. We haven't set a date. We kind of have to work around the milking schedule.
Uh-huh. Yep.
It's exciting.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I love love. I especially love new love. Well, I've been married for over 20 years, and that new love becomes, I don't want to call
Oh,
it old love, but it becomes deep. It becomes a deep love, if that makes sense, like a deeper, more everyday, more less insanity.
okay. It evolves a bit.
Yeah, yeah, my husband and I have been married for over 20 years. And now when he goes to work in the morning, it's like I love you, drive safe, have a good day, and a quick peck on the lips, and out he goes to work. And then when he gets home, the way I express my affection is that dinner is ready when he walks in the door, or at least 10 minutes after he walks in the door. Always. It's not the I missed you all day. It's the dinner's ready. You must be hungry. What would you like to eat?
Oh, yes. So for sure, yes, we get to enjoy that honeymoon phase love, as they
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. And
Just
enjoy it.
exciting. Fun.
Yep. Enjoy it because it lasts about 5 years and then life becomes life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. As a dairy farmer, I look forward to having
So
a nice
excited for
schedule.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Yes,
too.
we
All
like
right.
having
And
that.
then did I see that you go ahead?
Oh, we like having that structure and that uh, reliable schedule. At least the milking schedule. I guess it kind of spills over into life.
Yeah, routine is good. Um, did I also see that you lost a farm dog and that you now have a new farm dog?
Yeah, we had lost one farm dog, and then another had become injured. Well, his replacement had become injured, so I got another dog to team up with him. So now I have Paw Paw and Jack Straw.
Oh, I
Uh,
didn't know about Jack
Golden
Straw.
goats. He is 11 months old, and he's he's a little hot with me at the moment. He just got snipped, so
Mm, yep. Good job. Good
we're
plan.
still we're still making friends again.
Yeah, they don't appreciate that very much. Um, and they're Pyrenees, right?
Pyrenees, Great Pyrenees, yes,
Yeah. Good.
excellent livestock guardian dog, known for their guarding the herd, uh, late night prowling, watching the farm. Just a classic livestock. Yeah, they're bred for this. They're in their element.
Mhm. Yes, they're wonderful dogs. Our friends have two right now, and they are big dogs, but they are big loves. So it's
Oh,
always nice to be around them.
yes. They definitely vie for my attention, but they're learning to get along as brothers as well, which is fun and challenging. All in all.
And are they good about the goats? Are they good with herding them
Oh
or
yeah,
protecting them?
they do a nice wide herd as their style, so it's a pretty good sized circle watching the goats. And but yes, when I leave, I know that they're in good hands. And never had any coyote issues out here yet. Knock on wood.
Very nice. Okay, so I have another question about the goats that just popped into my head. If you have 30 something new babies already and you have a few more due, do you
Mhm.
keep do you keep all of those or do you
Oh,
sell them?
so a lot of them get to find new farms. I know other people who have goats that either have them just for maintaining their farm and the fences and like
Mhm.
them having them as livestock pets, and others that are full scale milk operations, one a few. And yeah, so that's who's getting those. Um, few of them, but I will keep some of the girls from the moms who are, high producers. And my facility can handle about 75 full-grown goats.
Okay.
So that's where I like to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, you could have hundreds of goats, but you would
Oh
run
yeah.
out of time and energy. So,
Mm-hmm. And space is an issue. They can start getting some illnesses and things of that sort. Um, if you if they're too compact, I strive to keep the goats living as close to as they would in nature on my farm.
uh,
Obviously with the human hand intervening, but as close as I possibly can get them to as they would be in nature um, here on the farm.
okay. And how many bucks do you have?
One man does all the work out here.
Wow.
Elvis is his name, and he's a second-year buck, son of Bojangles, and he's he's the lucky dog who has a lot of work on his plate in the fall.
He's a busy boy, yes. And that was the other question I had. Do you just have one season of babies, or do you do a second round in
I
the
do
fall?
one breeding, so he's
Okay.
withheld all year, and then when they go into their fall heat is when I expose them to the buck.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because some people do have two sets of
Yes,
babies a year, but it's a lot. It's a lot to try to handle all that.
and it's something I would like to do because being a seasonal producer, I have to reintroduce a lot of my customers have to be reintroduced every year to the
Mhm.
product. Whereas somebody going year round, it's just there year round, and they continue purchasing and so on and so forth. But um, breeding year round would allow me that opportunity to have the year round milk. But my facility is set up just for the seasonal production. We would need quite a bit of build out for to be able to um, have it done that way to be year round. Excuse me.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. I meant to mention this before we started recording, and I didn't. When we're done recording, don't leave because I need your file to upload from your side too. I will edit that out. And John, I try to keep these to half an hour, but I really feel like we've gotten what I needed out of this. I'm so thankful that you had the time to talk with me because this has been really interesting. I found out new things today.
Well, I appreciate you having me on and taking time to give us the invite. And this is the first time I've ever been on a podcast, so I'm very excited.
Was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
I had a great time. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Good.
And
All
you got to
right.
get out to Illinois to come out and have some chocolate goat milk or some plain goat milk and some soaps and see how I stack up.
Yeah, chocolate goat milk sounds really good.
Oh yeah, I can give that a quick plug. I did. I scored a top 10 finish in the World Chocolate Milk Championships.
So how did that work? How did you even get into that?
I had through some of the dairy letters that I get through the USDA. I
Oh,
saw that they had milk tasting competitions and butter tasting competitions every year. And I said, hey, there's one for milk and chocolate milk. So I was interested to see how my chocolate milk stacked up against the competition. And so I signed up and did all the paperwork and mailed off the first set of samples. And it was all these, I was mailing bottles of milk for like 2 months,
oh wow.
making sure everybody had a chance to taste it. And it got her going and scored really high, which I was very impressed with.
So that leads me to the last question. What kind of chocolate are you using to flavor your chocolate milk?
Oh, the top secret. I spare no expense. I use a very high quality. I worked with a local chocolatier who's been making custom chocolates for 25 years, and I tasted chocolates from all over the world. And the one I locked down is pretty good stuff, I believe. And maybe that's what does it. But
Uh-huh.
it's real. It's a real 100% cacao, and it gives it a very unique flavor. And that, so maybe that's what I can just divulge is it's 100% cacao and it's um, real cane sugar. Not too much magic, but um, where you source your chocolate from, I feel, has a difference,
I
makes a
would
difference.
I would imagine it probably does. So top 10%, is that what you said?
Oh, no, it's a top 10 out of everybody.
Top 10 out of everybody. That is
Yeah,
amazing.
there's a few hundred in there. So I felt really, really honored for that one.
Well, congratulations twice in the same podcast. That's pretty cool.
Appreciate that.
All right, John, you have a fantastic day and thank you again.
Thank you, Mary. You
Yep.
have a great day. Bye now.
Bye.